Alright, hey everybody, welcome to another video, and today we are talking about music releases that came out so far this year, and basically looking to the last, what is it, 5 months of this year, and there's been so much good stuff this year. I haven't even been able to keep up. I've been doing a worse job than usual. I used to be pretty good at this, but I think as time's gone on, maybe I've got a life or something. But I'll say what my tentative top 10 is, and also a bunch of honorable mentions, and then some stuff that we can look forward to in the coming months, because there's always so much music to look forward to, and it's so hard to keep up these days, and more discoveries and more bands and returning old ones and everything. So I'm not going to do a countdown like I normally do, because this isn't solidified at all, and I'll probably re-listen to everything. I always kind of re-listen to a lot of stuff in December, because there's usually not too much released in December, and everyone's listening to Christmas music, and it's like, okay, this is the time, other than some Vince Guaraldi, but this is some time to listen to something else, and to basically revisit all the stuff from the past year, and also maybe stuff I missed, because there's so much stuff that I tagged 2023 and wanted to listen to that I haven't yet. So you can say in the comments maybe what I'm missing, because when I made my best of last year list, someone said, well, what about the Black Thought record? And I said, oh yeah, I'm getting to that. And then if I was to place it somewhere in my top 10, I'd probably put it 3 or 4 now. So now that video is missing one of my favorites, and that always kind of bugs me, because it's like, oh, that's such a good record. And yeah, anyway. So my number one so far, and this one has been kind of polarizing, I think, because fans of either artist don't seem to like the artist that he's collaborating with, but that's Fred Again and Brian Eno. And I'm not really into Fred Again, but I really love what they did together. But some people find Secret Life a bit boring. I find it's just the perfect chill out. It's a 2 a.m. record. It's a 4 a.m. record. It's very nocturnal. And for me, it just hit the vibe just right, and I really like that record. I don't know if it'll be my number one at the end of the year, because some of these other ones are really strong, and there's some really good stuff coming out in the next couple months. But for now, it's been my number one since it dropped. I really like that one. And I actually have that one. I gotta warn you, I don't have many of the ones on the list so far, because records are just so expensive now, and for me it's kind of it's to choose between records and going to live shows. And as much as records are my favorite physical thing to own, live shows beat out records. But I will try to catch up and get some more, because there's some big gaps to fill in my record collection, both new and old. But I'm talking about this year's stuff, and the biggest one I would like to get is Billy Woods and Kenny Segal, Maps. One of the best rap albums lately. Probably ties that Danger Mouse record from last year. Just one of those records, that these rappers are more about their verses. It's not about the chorus. The chorus is usually a little sampled thing. It's not about those hooks and those female singers like Ashanti that would do the choruses for rappers back in the day. This is getting back to the old school, and it's very prevalent in especially conscious rap and that kind of thing. And backpack, do they still call it backpacker hip hop? I never thought that was a bad or corny thing. I always thought there were lots of great groups doing that. Yeah, but that Billy Woods record is absolutely stunning. It's perfect. There's nothing bad about it. There's no bad song. And that's true for quite a few of these, but that, like a few of these other ones, it's a 5 out of 5. It's so good. One of the other ones, and this guy's having a busy year, but Avi Ter from Animal Collective, his new album Sevens, which is one of if not his best. And this guy, other than releasing a Backwards album with his wife at the time, or girlfriend, wife, I think, other than that, he never misses. His solo work is absolutely stunning. Slasher Flicks I loved so much and listened to so much. I love all his contributions to Animal Collective, because he has the most lead vocals and lead rights. And Sevens is just another stunning record from him. Magdalena Bay. Magdalena Bay. I can never say it, and then I think of their Magdalena Bay, like the little bit they put in all their mini mixes, and it's like, oh yeah. But yeah, I'm not dyslexic. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I can never say it. So maybe I think it's just Mushmouth. I always call it Mushmouth. Um, Mini Mix Volume 3. I remember that one year I made that list and I'm like, no EPs. And then I put an EP in because I was like, I can't not talk about this Burial EP. So I don't know why I wouldn't put in EPs because I listen to EPs as much as albums if they're good. Obviously, I own more albums, but if an EP is this good, I mean, this is so consistent and so experimental and solid, and it houses some of the best things they've ever put out. All the tracks on it match the best tracks on their actual like their sole full record, which is their debut. And the best ones on that is like Dream Catching and Secrets Your Fire, and all these songs on this EP match that. They're great. Tongue Twister is one of the most fun thing ever. Top Dog is so catchy and was stuck in my head for weeks, and they have all those fun music videos to go with it, and you can put them all together and watch them on the YouTube channel. Oh my god, it's so much fun. It's one of the best things ever. It just made me so happy. I remember watching the premiere and it was just like everyone was so hyped in the chat, and it was one of the most fun events ever. Um, this one I also have a copy of and I've talked about, though I probably will talk about it some more because I'm working on listening to all the podcasts and getting some actual context for what the songs mean and the vision to the album. I mean, for some people it's ridiculous, but I love Billy Corgan's just imagination and enthusiasm and yeah, just his drive to put out a triple album, 30 years into his career. And I think the fans that get it. I've enjoyed watching or looking at the YouTube comments of people that are like, "Thank you for putting a positive light on this album," and everyone else is talking negatively. And that's why I made the video, because I was obsessed with it, and I've listened to it more than any other record I'm talking about this year. So it could gun for number one. All of these could. These first five or so. But yeah. Did I call him Adam or Autumn? Did I call it? Anyway, for me it's interchangeable. I know you're supposed to call it Autumn, but yeah. I digress. I should know that by now, especially now that I'm getting some context for the material, which I think is making me appreciate it even more. And someone said, why don't you do a follow-up video? And I think I will. And, and I'll ramble on some more, and it'll be much to the detriment of that one guy that's like, this is the worst video I've ever seen in my whole life. Oh my god, the Bob Dylan thing, Shadow Kingdom, is him doing his early stuff, with his old man voice and everything that we're all used to now. But, oh, I just gotta do something there. Yeah, but I had expectations for it. I wouldn't say high, but I was kind of keeping them at bay, my expectations. But I was pretty, I had pretty high expectations because I've been on a Bob Dylan kick, and it seems like I get on a huge one every year, or even more prominently these days. It used to be every year, now it's every 6 months, and just listen to everything I can by Bob Dylan and the band and his solo stuff, and just everything. Try to hit as much of the discography as possible. And man, these reinterpretations, they just work. They're so good, and they sound like how they're performed, like him in a smoky bar. And I'm not sure if when you buy the Blu-ray, I think a lot of it might be lip synced. I'm not quite sure, but as a record, it works. I absolutely love it. I loved his last album, specifically the 20-minute song "Murder Most Foul," but I loved a lot of it, and even the songs that I thought were less good were still good. But yeah, this is even better. Like, I love these interpretations of these songs. It really works for his new voice, but he's had it for like 35 years. The Old Man Croak, but it really works, and it really recontextualized a lot of these songs. They're great. Thankfully, I also have a copy of this one. Gorillaz Cracker Island. My better half got me this one for my birthday, I believe it was. But anyway, that was so nice. And Gorillaz, these guys have never missed with their full lengths. I don't care what you say. In my opinion, they've never missed. And I've been back and forth. This might be even better than Song Machine, and I loved Song Machine. I think I said once Song Machine was my favorite since Plastic Beach. But yeah, I mean, Oil made me tear up. Like, Stevie Nicks is like Bob Dylan. Like, she kind of has this old voice, you know, it's almost like a croak, but her and Damon Albarn, like, singing together was so fantastic. Cracker Island with Thundercat is just classic. That bass, and his vocals married with two D's, aka Damon Albarn, amazing. I don't know much about Bad Bunny. I just know how popular he is with people 10 years younger than I am. That was great. I just love how they mix the new school with the old school features, and they've always done that really well. And people that I am not a fan of or didn't think I was a fan of, I always like through these Gorillaz tracks, and it works here. New Gold, of course, which is one of my best buddies' favorite Gorillaz songs ever now. That was great. It was fun to see that live last November. Skinny 8, Baby Queen, these are all fantastic tracks here. The only thing I don't really like is the cover art, you know. I think if they're going for some cultish thing, they could have done a better job. But the music is what matters, and the music is fantastic. So I don't own these other ones, but the Caroline Polachek record, which I think it came out in February, and you still can't get the vinyl. It's coming out next month, I guess when this video goes up. Or it might be this month by the time the video goes up. August, anyway. There, I dated the video. Desire I Want to Turn Into You, which houses my favorite track, Billions, from last year. The Go Team Get Up Sequences Part 2, oh my god, the Go Team are always so much fun, and this is just a fun mix-mux of all their stuff, you know. I mean, if you're feeling down, just listen to the Go Team. No need for any Prozac or anything like that. Gord Downie and Bob Rock, Luster Parfait. Man, I would love to get a copy of that. So I guess Bob Rock has been sitting on this for some time, but Gord Downie said before he was gonna pass away, he said, "Please let the world hear that project we made together." And you know, they'd collabed together before on a few hip records, and you know, they were just good friends. And yeah, I mean, it's a great record. It's got some great material on it. I think more so than any of these other ones I've mentioned. It definitely requires more listens from me because I only listened to it 3 or 4 times, but I loved it. Honorable mentions: Great American Racers self-titled album, El Mickels Affair and Black Thought. I love the Black Thought material that's coming out, and he might have a Stream of Consciousness Volume 4 I hope will come out this year, but this collaborate record was amazing. It's almost as good as the one with Danger Mouse, but it's really close. Metallica's 72 Seasons, I think I liked it more than a lot of people. I think it might be their best full-length record in, well, decades, I guess. Since Injustice for All, maybe. And I really liked Death Magnetic, and I really liked Hardwired a lot. But yeah, 72 Seasons, I know that they're not doing much original anymore, but they just do what they do so well. It's kind of like Iron Maiden. They just do what they do so well. They're not reinventing the wheel anymore, but they don't really have to. Foo Fighters, But Here We Are, that one really stunned me, especially certain tracks on it. I love The Teacher. That's one of the best things they've done in the last couple decades. And my friend hates Rescued because he says it's played on the radio ad nauseum. And the radio always used to do that with Foo Fighters' first singles. But for me, I only hear it whenever I put the album on, so I love it as much as the rest of the album. Yeah, there's some great stuff on it, and it's really heartfelt, you know. a nice tribute slash goodbye to both Taylor Hawkins and Dave Grohl's mom, who passed away, within months of each other. And, he had a really sad time. It must be really therapeutic to go out on tour, though, and have fans, scream your lyrics back at you, and they're all smiles, and they're tearing up when you are, and yeah, so love the Foo Fighters. Always have, even though in the mid 2000s I fell off them because they did a couple records I didn't like that much. But every other record by them I like or love, and I've followed them for years. I own everything they have. I really like the Foo Fighters. Queens of the Stone Age and Times New Roman. That is probably my favorite Queens of the Stone Age in a long time. And that's saying a lot too. They're a very consistent band. I even liked Villains. A lot of people didn't because, that was a Mark Ronson collab record, so it was a little poppier. The New Pornographers continue as a ghost. Not as good as the last couple, but a solid record and some great standouts on it. They are a brilliant band. They write songs brilliantly. They do those multi-layered kind of vocal things where, Nico Case is doing a different thing than the lead man, whose name is escaping me right now. And I'm going to kick myself when I watch this video afterwards. Freak Heat Waves, Mondo Tempo, who we just saw the other day, and amazing work from them. Kind of unexpected, but I really liked it. And it might be their best full length, I'm not sure, but those guys always deliver. I like Freak Heat Waves a lot, and I've seen them 7 or 8 times, but they're so solid, and the standouts are just huge, and just every track flows so well together. It's a really nice chill out record, which is a that's a big compliment though. Modern Cosmology. What Will You Grow Now? I'm trying to get these through a little quicker. Sigur Rós Atta, I guess is how you pronounce it. Their comeback record. They welcomed back an old member, and I guess they're a trio now. I can't keep up with the lineup, but it's their first one in 10 years. How did 10 years get behind that band? They did a few experimental releases, but for actual full length, how did 10 years get behind us, too? It's like that Pink Floyd Time song. M83 Fantasy, good stuff there. Worst cover of the year, though. Daughter, Stereo Mind Game, Blur, Ballad of Darren. That one's a real grower. A lot of people listen to it once and they're like, it's a non-event, or, the single's good, but the rest isn't. Listen to it some more. There's some great stuff, and they're really influenced by Bowie. It's a really involved record. It's a really introspective record on getting old and that. Good stuff from them. Blur has never disappointed me. All their albums are fantastic, just like Gorillaz. So it's the Damon Albarn aspect. No, all 4 of them. They're brilliant. Brilliant musicians, especially when they all come together. Pearl and the Oysters, Coast to Coast. U.S. Girls Bless This Mess. Pretty inconsistent album, but the highs on it really, I had to mention it or I would have felt kind of naked. Yes, Mirror to the Sky, decent enough for me to say. There's some good tracks on that one. John Frusciante's weird record. Hard to get used to, but I can pick up what he's putting down. I like the weird though. I mean, a lot of his solo albums are weird, especially his first couple and his last few. But he's a true artist. He's just doing what he wants, and a lot of people don't get it, and that's okay, I guess. And then this one's not as consistent, but it was still decent, so I have to say at MEB that you dare not forget. That you not dare forget. I knew I would forget that. So upcoming... Oh, one more, because I just listened to it yesterday. George Clanton's record is fantastic. I don't know, because I don't know if I want to directly compare it to Slide, but man, there's some knockouts on it, and every song is good, even the Fucking Up My Life, which I thought, it's decent, but why is that the first single? That one's grown on me. It's not as good as the other singles, and there's some stuff that's some of the best stuff he's done. So, I haven't listened to the new Posty record yet, Post Malone, or the new Georgia. Carly Rae Jepsen just released something. In August, we have Neil Young. Chrome Dreams is finally coming out. He's still digging in his archives. It's the deepest well ever. Panda Bear and Sonic Boom are putting out a dub version of Reset, which is one of my favorite albums of recent years. I love Reset so much. Adrian Sherwood is the guy doing the dub, and judging by the first single, it's going to be so choice. It's going to be so good. Charlotte Cardin's new record comes out in August. Filter, Islands in September. We have Slowdive coming back, one of my favorite bands of all time. Chemical Brothers is putting something out. Speedy Ortiz. Courtney Barnett. I'm sorry when I butcher people's names. It's like I can write them, but then I can't say them later. Explosions in the Sky is coming back. Animal Collective is doing their companion record to Time Skiffs, and it's going to feature the, is it 20 Minutes Defeat? I listened to it like 5 times in a row when it came out. The time didn't even matter to me. Matana Roberts, Steven Wilson. Then in October, we have the dreaded Dark Side of the Moon re-recording by Roger Waters. Emma Anderson from Lush is putting something out. Metric, Chris Shiflett from Foo Fighters. In November, Black Grape return. That's Sean Ryder's Non-Happy Mondays group. Lowell Tolhurst is doing a collab record with Jackknife Lee and Budgie. And of course, Lowell is from The Cure. So, I'll have to listen to it. And Jackknife Lee produced for Snow Patrol and Silver Sun Pickups and all these other great bands. And Budgie played with the Slits, and he was also married to and a band member with Susie of Susie and the Banshees. So, that's a really interesting. That's a really interesting lineup. My posture's really bad in this video. Oh, my back. And Helmet is coming back, and I don't know if my expectations are very big after the last one, but I love me some classic Helmet. I mean, oh my god, like Betty and Meantime and all those records. Wow. Some of my favorite, I guess you would call that post-hardcore. Anyway, alternative rock and metal. Helmet they were trailblazers. They didn't have the sales that some of the other bands had, but they were trailblazers. And then there's so many maybes. I just put a few down, but feel free to fill me in, and also tell me ones I missed from months prior. Even though a lot of them I'll be like, yeah, I know, I wanted to get to that. There's so many, like I said, tagged, where it's like I tagged them when they came out, and then it's like I haven't listened to them yet. Maybe's the Black Thought one I mentioned already. Blink-182's next record with Tom back in the fold for the first time in eons, and it's supposed to be self-titled again, so it's like a new beginning again. A self-titled 20 years after the self-titled. But that's okay, because in my opinion, self-titled was the best record they ever did. Moon Music by Coldplay. These might be tentative titles, just so you know, which might really date the video. Collective Soul is supposed to do one called Here to Eternity. The Cure, I'm still expecting Songs of a Lost World someday. Econoline Crush, still expecting that someday. And Peter Gabriel, like, where's that record, man? He's put out like 25 singles. No, just kidding, but there's a lot of them. You could create a record with just the singles alone. So, yeah, it's going to be an exciting fall, end of summer, fall, and winter. And I guess winter doesn't count, but anyway. So in December I'll just do a best of list, and more videos coming down the pipeline, and thank you so much for watching and listening to me prattle on. And please tell me what some of your favorites are so far this year, top 5, top 10, whatever, and what you're looking forward to. And also tell me what I missed, because I'm probably aware of some of it, and but some people recommend me things, and it's like, wow, yeah, you're right. My ears are always open for recommendations and new music and new bands and all that. So, catch you in the next video. Peace and love and music, everybody. Thank you.